Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We have Carol Hampshire, who is a brand designer and a business strategy coach who's passionate about working with boss ladies who are coaches, creatives, or wellness consultants who are ready to work smarter, grow quickly, and play harder in business. So let's dive in and learn more from Carol. So, Carol, welcome.
Hi, Ingram. Thanks a lot for that introduction. It's quite a mouthful.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Yeah, most people just call me Byron. I haven't heard anyone call me Ingram in a long, long time. So how did you get into the world that you're in, working with brand designing and business strategy? How did you make that transition to doing that?
Good question. I started my own business about 20 years ago. I was about 22 years old, and I kind of just jumped in because I wanted to do graphic design. Don't ask me what that was. I just wanted to do it. So fast forward many years later, many logos later, many flyers later, I thought, no, there has to be something that's more fulfilling. And I made the switch very recently, probably about 2-3 years ago, into doing more brand design and strategy as well, because that is really what's important about design. There's no point in having a really good design if it's not strategically designed correctly in order to sell.
Right. No, definitely. You have to have it be in synergy because there's so many brands out there. There's something missing from it. You're like, okay, like I get the message, but I don't see what they're trying to say.
Totally. So that's why I have made that connection between branding and strategy, because you can't have one without the other.
Right. They're definitely synergistic. It's very rare a business succeeds without one or the other.
Exactly. And it's to educate people, business owners, the importance of that fact as well. Because if they're starting out in a business, they're pretty good at what they're doing, but they might not know the intricacies of creating a brand and making sure that it's actually working for them as well.
Right. So what are those key principles, the things that every brand should have in terms of representing themselves in today's world?
Oh my gosh, now you've put me on the spot.
Oh yes, the spotlight's right there.
The spotlight is right on me. So there's a couple of things. And the one thing is the brand has got to connect to your ideal client, because what's the point of having a really good colors or pictures or, it doesn't matter. The ultimate goal of any brand is to connect you or your business to your customer. In other words, your customer or client has got to go into that space or that brand of yours and really feel that they belong, that you are someone that they want to do business with and want to work with. That's the missing part of the puzzle, I find. So that has to be different and unique for every different company, every different person. So that's what I feel is what's really, really important.
Okay, and in what way should a business start branding today? Because we are in that transition still where you have some people who they might use, let's say, a website as more like a brochure, like, oh, well, this is all I need. And then you have others like, well, I do everything via referral. What is something that every business owner should have today?
Okay, that's a really good question. And I'm finding that there's a lot of sites that I'm reviewing for clients and potential clients that are very much brochure sites. And the thing is that it's all very well to have a brochure site, but the most important thing really is that you've got to sell whatever it is that is on the site, right? So it takes more than just a pretty picture. So there's got to be some kind of interaction that you want with the client or the customer. So I'm finding there's a lot of sites still today that don't have, a place for people to opt in and keep in touch with you or the business and be updated on information. or just get a feel of the ethos of the company and what do they stand for? What is the business owner and entrepreneur? What do they stand for? I kind of feel that's missing. So that is what I think is different, that should be different in a website design and branding.
And you're spot on when it comes to websites that are missing that opt-in, because now more than ever, people are not buying at that first point of contact. They're buying after 5, 6, 7 points of contact, and they're missing out on that opportunity. They're just by not being able to follow up with people.
That is where the strategy comes in. You're 100% right. 100% right. So gone are the days where you kind of just say, okay, well, I'm needing something like that. And then you just go and buy that. The market is so big and varied now that there is so many quality options out there. So when someone lands on your site, you want to make sure that you do have a strategy and that you kind of have a sales funnel that kind of funnels that person in to your mailing list. Okay, that's the first point of call. You've got to have someone that's kind of funneled into your mailing list. And then after a while, you are nurturing them through regular newsletters, regular content, regular inspiring content. And only then, like you said, it takes a couple of times, do you start selling your product or keep it very much on the lowdown. You're wanting to build relationships. That's the bottom line. It's about building that relationship with someone, because you spoke about referrals earlier on. Now you refer people to someone who you have had dealings with, right? So if you are friends with someone, you refer them, okay? In the online community, this is a huge community. So you want to make sure that people are still referring your name to other people. But you do that because you've built up a relationship with them and it's a solid relationship. So that is why, like you mentioned, it's important to kind of nurture those potential clients. It's a matter of nurturing them, keeping in contact with them, and then selling to them.
Right, exactly. I like to see the sales today is more like dating than anything else. You're not going to
Totally.
day one just rush up to someone and say, "Hey, your place is mine," and they don't even know your name.
Totally. And I mean, I've been using that analogy now many, many times because that's exactly what it is, especially over Facebook. So, for example, I know that anyone who's on Facebook has received messages saying, click here, you'll get these beauty products on a discount or something like that. And it's like, no ways. There's no way you just want to kind of jump in and buy from someone, because it is a dating process. You want to have the first date, you want to be wooed by them, you want to be intrigued by them, and you want to then, after a couple of dates, then start buying from them. Same thing with business. You've hit the nail on the head.
Right. There's very few times that it makes logical sense in today's world where you can get away with just putting a straight offer out there to people. And that's where it makes sense, where if it's something that people are in the market for something, let's say like here in the States with real estate, if someone's looking at potentially selling their house, you can get away with saying that, hey, find out how much your home is worth, and be able to put that type of an offer out there so it gets people started into that funnel.
You're right.
Where if you're trying to sell a coaching thing, well, no, you're not going to do that same thing. It's a different process.
It is a different process, and that's why people now are, niching themselves into very specific markets. So, for example, I've dealt with health coaches, but you can't just be a health coach now. So because the market is just so big, so people are, niching within that niche. Some people are dealing with certain eating disorders or different kind of immune diseases that they have. So they are really funneled quite well into a niche, and that helps differentiate yourself from the next person. So, for example, you spoke about real estate agents. So let's, for example, I want to sell my house, but It's not just a normal house, it's a house specifically for golfers because I live on a golf estate, for example. Now, that will certainly market I would know who to market to, and I'd be able to sell my home probably a bit quicker because there's a specific market that I'm attracting.
Right. And so critical is knowing the exact marketplace that you're in. Now, you mentioned health coaches out there, and we live in that world where there seems to be a dime a dozen of them. How do you see them truly standing out besides just niching down? Because you'll see, a dime a dozen, let's say, weight loss coaches out there. Like, okay, so what makes you different? And everything they're saying is pretty much identical. What should they be doing?
It's a good question, and this is when you've got to even do things that excite you. So I know health coaches that would do videos. So, for example, they might do exercise videos, and that is their niche, and they've created a market, and they're standing as an expert in their field by, say, for example, doing videos. Other people have created their area of expertise because they have published a book. So there are certainly ways that you can diversify in your business, doing something that you love, but creates that feeling of you being an expert. So other health coaches might be public speakers, for example, or hold retreats. So it all depends on what you are really wanting where you're wanting to go with your business and how you're wanting to position yourself as an expert, because all of those would work, whether you do videos, whether you do retreats, whether you do, public speaking or publish a book or publish a magazine, do vlogging. Each one of those platforms will work, but you've got to find the one that really lights you up as well to do that.
What do you mean by lighting up?
Well, I think it's important because some people have asked me, like, what do I do to show, to kind of create myself as an expert, position myself as an expert above and beyond my competitors. So what I mean by saying light you up is that it's all very well, I can say, well, how about blog? That is what Coach X does. Why don't you blog as well? But if that person is not a writer, it's not going to light them up. But maybe they love doing exercise videos, or maybe they really love public speaking. So it's important, I think, to get yourself, your word and your vision out there by doing something that you love. So it could be a health coach that I know of, for example, she loves taking pictures of her food and post them on Instagram 2 or 3 times a day. And they are gorgeous. And she's created the perception in my mind that she is an expert just because of her beautiful photographs. Clearly that's her, something that lights her up. She loves photography. So that is what I mean. Do something that really you are inspired to do. Don't do something just because you think that it's going to get the results you want. There's got to be some kind of authenticity to it.
Oh, perfect. Authenticity is everything, because if you don't love doing something, it's going to show in everything that you do versus embracing the things that you love and diving straight in.
The thing is that you want to create a business for yourself that doesn't feel like work. It's that cliched expression. You want to do something that doesn't feel like work. And that's when you've got to find those niches within yourself. And sometimes it's tough. Being an entrepreneur, maybe you're starting out, it's not that easy to find something that is right for you or feels right or lights you up. So my advice is, try something. Just try something and see if it works for a while. If it doesn't, then try something different. And you will eventually find what it is that you really love to do and that people are responding to you. So your audience will respond to you because they can feel that passion. You can't fake that, like you said. You just can't.
Right, exactly. There's some things that you just can't do in terms of, especially when it comes to faking authenticity, because people are going to see through it. So you
100%.
mentioned that you had made this switch into this strategy area. How did you make that transition into it in terms of letting people know that this is your focus, that it's no longer just graphic design, that you're encompassing everything that it takes to build a brand?
It's a good question, and it comes off the kind of the backtail of me having a bit of a burnout, because I was creating so many websites and so many brands, and I felt that I was needed to have a change because I wasn't. First of all, I love doing personal branding, and I didn't realize it at the time. But now that I've kind of shifted my focus, so I work with one-on-one entrepreneurs who are wanting to, they are the business. They don't sell, they are the business. They sell themselves as life coaches, health coaches, fitness experts, things like that. And I have really resonated with working with people like that versus working with people that are, business to business or more corporate companies. And the other thing is that I felt that even if you were to come to me and you said, Carol, I'm needing a new website design, and I can give you a great website design. But the thing is that there has to be a lot of thought behind what I'm doing and why I'm doing it for you, specifically for you. So I think that I was doing people a disservice because the ultimate goal of you putting a website up is not to have a good website, okay? The ultimate goal of you having a website up is to sell your product or service. That's the bottom line. To connect with your audience and to sell and to enrich their lives somehow, okay? That's kind of the purpose of each website. And I don't feel I was doing that. I was giving my clients a website design, and that was it. And now they kind of had to go and do all of the kind of strategy and marketing on them, on their own. So now I actually I didn't realize how much I loved doing that as well. So kind of, giving the strategy as well as the design in a package. And I think that I'm enhancing those clients' possibility of reaching their goals sooner because I'm supporting them on many levels, the branding side and the marketing side and the strategy side.
Oh, that's perfect. It's something that you have to embrace, is that transition into doing something that you love, especially if there's burnt out, because there's too many people in the world that they're burnt out, but they're not willing to make a change, and it only gets worse.
I think it does happen, but when it gets to be pretty bad, then, thank goodness I didn't have any kind of major health issues at all, but I know people have had that. It was just more of a knowing that I was completely exhausted. But I think it is a wake-up call, and it is time to kind of take a little bit of time out of your life and just reflect and find a new direction. It doesn't mean that what you were doing was wrong. Maybe it means that you've just matured into a different kind of business person and are ready for that next level of business in your life.
Right, exactly. It's making that leap before you hit rock bottom there. So after you made the transition and you started focusing on the strategy component, what were those steps that you took to start letting people know that this is now part of your service package, so people didn't see you as just the person for websites, logos, and so forth?
Good question. It's not easy, and it's pretty scary because you're kind of getting out of your comfort zone. You're wondering, well, now that I'm building this kind of new business, is anyone going to knock on my door? So what I did was to create a package which kind of combined my talent as the designer, and with it, I added the bonus of the strategy as well. So I created a package called Brand New You, and that was meant to brand someone, completely rebrand them, but also give them the mentoring that they needed to get their business into the next level as well. So I kind of packaged the two together, and that turned out quite successfully. And now I'm starting to package just my mentoring as well. So I've kind of got branding, I've got mentoring, and then I've got a branding and mentoring package as well. So I think I've covered in those three bases.
Oh yeah, that definitely covers it. You look at it, and then how did you start letting people know about that you had these great offerings? Because I think for a lot of business owners, that's where they get stuck.
It is tough because I didn't I I first of all decided that I just wanted to sell this package to 5 people. I didn't want it to be more than that. I wanted to really get a handle on making this absolutely perfect. And like I said, I set myself a goal of getting 5 people to buy into this package. And even I surprised myself. I sold those 5 packages in that 1 month. I don't know how I did it. I certainly used Facebook quite a lot, so I love going into groups, and I would share um, my packages in a way that was authentic. And when it was appropriate, obviously I never spammed at all. It was always done in the right times and places where my target market hang out. And I encouraged people, the next thing I did, I really encouraged people to get on a call with me, because I don't believe that people should sell or buy something unless they kind of have a really good sense of who I am and what I can do from them. And it's all about feelings. So, because my target market is mainly women, and there's obviously some men as well, but there's a sense of once you get on the call with someone, there's a bond that happens naturally. And I want to kind of create that and see if we are a good fit on that discovery call. And that's really, really important. That's the um, vital ingredient for taking on new clients, is to really encourage the person not to buy from you, but encourage them to be in a free, discovery call with you.
Right. And you mentioned something earlier. I think it's important, and that's that qualifying aspect because you want to make sure they're a great fit. Because
Mm.
too many times, entrepreneurs they make the mistake of just seeing someone as a meal ticket because, like, oh my gosh, I have bills to pay, and
Mm.
they take on clients they never should take on in the first place, and then they're miserable because of it. Instead of focusing on the ones that are the right fit for what you have to offer.
I think the wake up call, I had the same thing. And the biggest wake up call is the 80-20 rule. So I think how does it go? It goes something like, 20% of your clients give you 80% of your income.
Correct.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Oh yes.
So it was a huge mind shift for me to actually realize that it's okay to actually say no to certain clients and certain projects, because that's something I would never ever do. Um, I was in a mindset of scarcity and attracting as many clients as I want, but that didn't get me the fulfillment that I wanted. So I almost trained myself to be able to say no to the clients that I didn't feel a good fit, because they end up taking a lot more time and more of my energy than necessary. And I will certainly wait until the right fit came for me. And I guess that's not easy. That's totally not easy, and it's very uncomfortable. But once it starts working, it becomes easier and easier each time.
Exactly. It gets easier. And the key component of it is still just to focus in on just the ones you truly resonate with. And one of the things I tell people is that there's no reason to have a scarcity mindset. There's over 7 billion people on the planet. You're going to connect with the right people for you because you only need a handful of people at any one point in time to create an amazing lifestyle.
I agree totally. I agree totally. And I still can't believe that some people are really threatened by other people in their industry, which is crazy. I think let's help each other to succeed in any way we can, even if they're on the same industry as us.
Right, exactly.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, you're not going to resonate with everybody. As much as I love to say, I can help the
Mm.
world, I realize there's only 24 hours in the day and there's a limit to that capacity. So
Totally.
you have to focus in on who are the specific people that are going to resonate with you and you can have the greatest impact with.
100%. 100%.
And that's really that goal you have to look at ultimately. So now in your business, because you've done these focusing and on these packages and so forth, what is it that you're doing now this year to scale your business so you keep it moving forward?
I can't believe how much I am doing in my business. So I've just launched a mentoring package, which is something pretty new, and I'm excited about that. And I'm also looking into creating retreats for women in South Africa. So a retreat that, because remember I mentioned earlier on, is that sometimes when we get into complete overwhelm, it's not easy to kind of figure out what to do next. And it's sometimes in that space of just quietness that we get the best results. So I believe that some kind of retreat and in a group setting of like-minded people can really enhance someone's business direction and their new shift in where they want in their lives. So I'm looking at doing that this year as well. So certainly lots and lots of new changes in my business. So, me 5 years ago was sitting at a desk all the time doing logo designs and more logo designs, for example. And now I am, mentoring. I'm doing, some amazing branding projects for amazing women all over the world. And as well as creating the possibility of having retreats. So women coming to South Africa, doing a retreat, having yoga, having healthy food, and perhaps going on to safari as well, and working on their business at the same time. So those are all things I never ever thought possible, but they're all coming. They're all possibilities that are coming true because, I guess, of a change in mindset, because of a new direction in myself and my business. And I'm very excited about all of that.
So what shifted in your mindset? Because as we know, mindset is one of the most powerful things that we need to have in our business. But what was that aha moment that like, oh, I can do it too?
I think I went on a sailing trip to Turkey about a year and a half ago. And this is no ordinary trip. It's actually a swimming and sailing trip. So in other words, the purpose of the trip is to swim around, a couple of kilometers or miles every day in the sea. So that is my love of the ocean and of swimming. So I thought, this is great. I can have a holiday and do something I love at the same time. And it was while I was on that trip that I realized, wow, I could actually, this was a holiday of a lifetime. And I thought to myself, could it be possible that I could live this kind of lifestyle more often versus this being a holiday once every 3 years? And I believe that's possible. So I think that shift happened then. How can I create more of that in my life? How can I create more travel? How can I be in situations where I meet amazing people that are inspiring and help me to be a better person, and I help them to be better people and more productive people? So I think that was the catalyst. And I think, situations come like that into our lives because we take a chance, and I just took a chance in taking this trip because I needed a break. And I think it's important as entrepreneurs to kind of, like I said, step out of their comfort zone and do something different. And you'll find that those light bulb moments happen in those situations. They very rarely happen when you're meeting a deadline and you're sitting behind your desk and you're missing out on supper again. So
right.
My suggestion is do something different. Get out there and do something different. And you'll find that is when the creation of your business really happens as well.
Right. Oh, definitely. And that's so powerful that you had that epiphany when you're there, because so many times that is the one thing missing from entrepreneurs, is that they haven't made that shift into thinking, why not me? How can I make this happen? Because so many times people are focused on that job mentality of, okay, I have to make sure I'm doing enough to pay all the bills, instead of how can I live that bigger lifestyle so I can take a trip like this several times a year? What do I need to do to make that happen?
100%. I think people generally are just asking the wrong questions. And you're right. How can I create, abundant wealth and have a strong family life and go on trips around the world? The more I see other people doing it and thriving, the more I know that it is a possibility and it's not a pipe dream. And I'm hoping that I can serve as some kind of inspiration for other people wanting to do something similar, if that's what they're wanting to do. And I think you've got to be very clear on what you want in your life. And I certainly do. I certainly want to enjoy, more of life that is out there.
Right. Life is meant to be enjoyed, not to just watch it go by on TV or anything like
Yes.
that.
Or Netflix, certainly.
Oh, yes, definitely. It's amazing how many people that go, "What happened this weekend?" Netflix, and that was it.
But for example, keeping on this the theme. I mean, I moved to a coastal town. I lived in Cape Town, South Africa, for many many years, and I decided to move to this coastal town around 6 hours drive away from Cape Town. And it's very much a holiday town. So it's where a lot of the holiday, people come and holiday and vacation here. So it's a place called Knysna. It's a funny sounding name, but it really has a bit of everything. It's got the forest and the oceans and the lagoons and holiday vibe. Very small town. Everyone knows each other. Beautiful. And each sunset is just spectacular. It really is gorgeous. And people often say to me, you're so lucky. You're so lucky to live in Knysna. And I always try and say, well, what is so lucky about that? I made the decision to live here. I made it happen. I created an online business so I can live anywhere I want in the world. And it saddens me to hear people thinking of me as lucky, because it's not lucky. It's kind of a strategy in a way. That's how I wanted to live my life. And this is the decisions I made around that. So I'm hoping more people do that, hoping that more people, stop thinking that it's luck that someone has a tour company that sails around the Turkish islands. That person did it because that was their vision and they made it happen. It's not luck at all. It's hard work. And anyway, I just wanted to share that as well.
But that in itself is important, because too many people will see that, oh, that person's just lucky, or it was some unknown reason or whatever, and they're not looking at, well, the person made a decision, they came up with a plan, they executed it, they put in the long hours, they made it work, they showed up consistently over a period of time to get to where they want it to be at. It wasn't just they woke up one morning like, oh my gosh, it's all here, this is amazing.
No, they woke up that morning and they won the lottery and it all happened. So
Right.
I totally get that. And I mean, people are making it happen. And there's some amazing, inspiring people out there in the world today. So, I love looking at what they're doing. I love seeing their success and using that as an inspiration for me as well, taking myself to that next level as well.
Right. Oh, definitely. Now, because you're living there in South Africa, have you found it a challenge to grow your business globally, or are you focusing more locally in terms of the clients that you're attracting?
Great question. So the majority of my clients, I'd say 90%, are US based or internationally based. And I haven't seen that being any kind of problem. The only small problem is the time difference. So sometimes, like it is, morning where you are, it's early evening where I am. So that is the only, I guess, disadvantage, that we're not in the same time zone. But other than that, it hasn't stopped me from being accessible and to my clients as well. I do have some local clients, but not that many. So I'm hoping that might change in the future, but certainly my target market is more along the lines of women who are in the US or in the UK or Australia than South Africa.
Now, why is that?
Good question. I don't know. I'm certainly wanting to support women in South Africa more and more. So hence the retreats and maybe do some speaking. But maybe they need something slightly different. So maybe they need not so much branding or mentoring, but maybe they need inspiration. So I'm hoping to kind of cover that and certainly connect more and more to those people.
Right, definitely. So now, because you work with entrepreneurs in different parts of the world, what are some things that people might not know about, let's say, if they wanted to market to people that are in South Africa compared to other parts of the world?
I think I've never come across that situation. I think people generally want to market to people that are wanting to do any, that are people are wanting to enrich their lives in some way, whether it's through health, through mental, mind shifts, through wealth creation, through these kinds of inspiring things. And I think that's a global community, not so much South African community. I think the globe population in general want the same thing. In other words, we do want to, earn more money, work less, be healthier, be happier. I think we all want the same things deep down inside.
Oh, definitely. I think that's one of the things that sometimes people have to get past in terms of a limiting belief that it doesn't matter where you are in the world today. People want the same things. They want to improve their health. They want to improve their income and right on down the line. And it just goes back down to who is going to help them achieve it.
Exactly, totally. And that boils down to, a lot of factors, but ultimately it's that connection. Do they connect, like we said about the first date? Do they connect with that person? Because you can go on, I remember when I was dating, I went on many dates, but finally you do find someone that you just click with, and it does take some time. And you just believe that it's possible. Same thing with doing business with certain coaches or someone who you feel is going to be will help you get to the next level in your business. So it's a matter of just keeping on until you find that click.
Right, exactly. And that's so critical. You have to just keep going until you find it. But it's something that people have to start off with. Who do they want to work with? There's an analogy I like to utilize with people to help them put it in perspective. And just for someone to imagine if they're taking a flight, let's say from New York to Sydney, it's a nonstop flight. They're in the plane for a very long time. And they're sitting in the middle seat. You have the opportunity to either just let the airline pick people at random to sit next to you for this long flight, or you can decide who specifically you can have sitting there. And most people, they'll think, well, of course I would pick. But how many people are not picking in their business? They're just letting someone else decide who's going to sit next to them.
I think it's the responsibility of the business owner to pick their clients just as much as the clients need to pick them. So even when I am inviting someone to chat to me, I call it a virtual coffee, not a discovery call. I always say something like, let's see if we're a good fit for each other, because it means that I'm, in a sense, interviewing them. And I think that creates a good balance, which is what I learned actually in dating, believe it or not. I've got some epiphanies here. So when I first started dating, I would try and let the man, I would try and make him like me. And that takes a lot of time and effort, just like it does in business. Whereas what if you shift your mindset and give them the space for those people to like you as well and interview them as well? So I learned that from dating, and it's the same thing in business. You're kind of interviewing your clients just as much as they are interviewing you.
Right. Oh, definitely. It's a two-way relationship.
Definitely. People forget that.
Right. That the only way that you're not necessarily going to have a relationship per se is, let's say that you're buying something off of Amazon.
Yes.
You're really not going to care who is delivering it or anything like that. If you needed a new yoga mat and they have it, you're just buying it. That's the end of it. Versus investing in coaching or a health program or something where someone's diving into your life. So of course it's going to be more that dating approach, because you're going to be opening yourself up to them, and you want to make sure it's the right fit instead of that person looking going, wow, you're crazy. You're here a client. Yikes. You don't want that.
Totally.
So you have to have that balance. It's so vital.
It is vital. And it's more than just the click. You've got to fulfill your promises as well. It's basic old-fashioned business. Whatever you promise that person, even if it's an Amazon delivery, will that yoga mat be delivered on time when you said it would be? Will it arrive perfect condition? So you still got to keep up with those promises and commitments that you've given to someone, which is really important. And that will make a loyal customer, and that will make a raving fan, and that will make a raving fan, and that will make someone into someone who will refer you to other people. So it's to give great service, give the best that you can. Go over and beyond the call of duty for giving great service and really caring about people. I think people still want that, even if it's an Amazon yoga mat. We still want to feel that people actually care, and they've got an old-fashioned attitude towards quality and customer service as well.
Right, exactly. It's putting together the bow and the little fancy wrapping paper on it, those added touches that make all the difference. Even though that you might have a personal relationship, you're gonna know that, wow, they care because they put something of quality out instead of, wow, this is a piece of junk.
Exactly.
It makes all the difference in the world. So as we wrap things up here, what's one thing that you recommend for every entrepreneur doing so they can be able to more effectively communicate their brand to people?
The one thing, if you are in a personal capacity, so in other words, if you're a health coach, business coach, that kind of capacity, then the one thing that I can suggest that you do right now is to get updated photographs for your website or brand, because your photographs will show who you are as a person, something that's authentic and real. And they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and having that kind of image on your website or on your branding or in social media platforms, it really connects you to your clients. People will identify with you. So, if you're a fitness instructor, then I am assuming that you have a great physique that you've worked on quite hard, and that would come across in your branding. If you're a business coach, then I'm assuming that you'd have a business approach and you would look pretty professional. So those kinds of pictures are so important. And I would say that is the number one thing, is make sure that your pictures really, really show what you value and what your passionate about, and what your passion is and value in the world is. That is what I can suggest.
Oh, excellent. So valuable for people to utilize. So how can people reach out to learn more about the programs you have to offer and learn more about you?
So I've got a branding package, which is www.brandnewyou2017.com. And that's where you can see what I offer in terms of branding, and a great package. And then I've also got a mentor package. So what you can do is go to www.carolhampshire.com /90 days to freedom. And that's 90 days to free, 990 days to free. And that is my mentor package. So I would, that's how people could get hold of me and work with me. But most importantly is that my advice is, if you're a business owner, really connect to your passion, connect to what you love doing, and do more of that. Do less of what you don't like doing. It's quite simple. It's not rocket science.
Oh, yes, definitely. That's what it always comes down to, doing more of what you love. Well, Carol, I want to thank you for coming onto the Big Movement podcast today and sharing your wisdom about branding and strategy, because it makes all the difference in the world for entrepreneurs around the world.
Well, thank you so much, Byron, for having me. I've had a great time spending with you.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.